I got your YouTube pulled up here. I'll make a tweet.
The YouTube.
So, when you said you wanted to do it on Wednesday, why is Wednesday better for you?
Thursday night's pizza night. So for me, a lot of my preparation happens on Thursday afternoons, night. I knock out a lot of my schoolwork on Wednesday nights. So last year we did it on Thursdays, but it was kind of hard pressed because if we went over it all, we were almost cutting into me being 30 minutes early to pizza night to make sure everything was set up properly before the offensive line got there. But this helps out a lot as far as the schedule of my week goes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna tweet this out. Where are you guys doing? Where are you guys doing it this year?
Gaines Street Pies. Yep, the one on Gaines. And
Gaines.
Yep. Beautiful place, great pie. It's not a how do I say this without making Momos upset? It's not a quantity over quality thing. It's more of a quality over quantity thing. Really good pizzas, great people there. When you go there, they treat you like family, just like an Olive Garden. They do a great job. Their pizzas are wonderful. They're very accommodating and absolutely awesome with all the offensive linemen. Provided 18 to 25 pies almost every time we're there. So I can't say enough of good things about them. Like their pizzas are great.
How do you guys go from like 18 to 25? Like, what's the difference between an 18 night and a 25 pie night?
If we invite the quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, and full defensive line, then it'd be like a 25 night.
Right.
So not everyone's going to show up, right? For like the offensive line, they're always all going to show up. But depending on the night, depending on the week, I like to try to involve other position groups. So over, what was that? The spring, I invited the whole D line, and then the quarterbacks came, and some of the running backs, and some of the receivers. But depending on how many guys we get there, it really fluctuates. But they can crank out a pie in like 10, 15 minutes or less. So really just sitting there waiting for pizzas to come out. And the only way to judge the correct number of pizzas is when people stop getting up to eat the fresh pizza. So it's tough though. Head count's tough. Each offensive lineman could probably down a whole pizza themselves, but it really depends on how hungry they are. If they already ate. Those are things that I personally cannot judge.
Right.
So I always have to wait until I see people getting full, or people stop asking for sides of ranch, or people are starting to be a little more sluggish. And then I'll put the pause button on the pizza ordering.
All right. Well, I'm getting hungry. You ready to start?
Yes, sir. I'm grabbing that link from your tweet.
Oh,
Would you mind texting me the link?
Yep. No problem. The link from the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, coming your way. I'm going to ask you this on the pod, but is it week 1 or is it week 2?
It's week 1.
Okay. That's what I was going to call it, but I'm like, how can I call it week 1 when there's a kid in front of me that was just playing on the field, going through it? So I kind of feel like I didn't want to shortchange you.
We addressed it as a team as week 0. So
okay. Gotcha.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Second game of the season. How about that?
Yeah. Week 1, second game of the season. All right. Here, are you going to tweet that out?
Yes, sir. I just tweeted it out. Let me. Man, your headshot's throwing me off, man. The coming soon. Throwing me off. I keep thinking it's like Best Buy or Office Depot or something.
You also tagged me wrong. And not that it matters. You don't need to tag me. But I dropped the 247 from my handle. It's Josh _ Newberg. Wow.
I'm gonna redo that one then real quick.
Nah, it's okay.
No, I gotta do it.
You gotta do it right. Yeah, man. Change is in the air. I dropped the 247 from my handle. It's something that I've had since 2010 when I signed up for Twitter. And now I'm just Josh _ Newberg.
That's big time.
Yeah. It's a little bit more aerodynamic. I had a couple things on there that I didn't need.
Did you have a verified? You had a verified account before you switched. Right?
No, never verified. So if you're verified, it's a big problem.
Yes, sir. I've had to go through that twice.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose every follower if you're verified and you change your handle.
If you have a friend.
Yeah, not if you have a friend.
I didn't lose any followers. So Josh underscored. Oh, there you go. I got it.
But luckily for me, nobody can verify me. So if you're not verified on Twitter, you can just change your handle and nothing happens. So, haha.
Yeah, I had to go through a process. It was like a 2-week process of them going through my account, basically recovering it and changing my name for me. But yeah, not ideal. I did that right when I got here to Florida State.
All right.
I think I got it correct this time.
You did.
Let's hope so.
You did.
Let's do this thing, brother.
All right, let's rock and roll. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Big Man, Big Heart with Dillon Gibbons. I am your host, Josh Newberg, and this is episode 30. We are coming to you on a Wednesday evening. We are live on YouTube right now. Shout out to you guys watching, and shout out to everybody listening on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are right back in the swing of things, entering week 1. Dillon Gibbons, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I mean, we had a great week 0 game. Got some of the the grime and gunk out of our gears. Got everything moving. Florida State's a well-oiled machine heading into week 1. So I'm excited about this game. I'm excited about the location. I'm excited about the team that we're facing. But I'm not going to try to get emotional. It's good to have emotion. It's bad to be emotional. But at the end of the day, I'm excited to be back here on the podcast and excited to recap a little bit of week 0. And head into some of the strategy and things we've been working on heading into week 1 against LSU.
Yeah, and week 0 was a 47-7 domination over Duquesne. What was your kind of main objective heading into the game? Did you guys accomplish that?
Personally, my main objective was, of course, to keep my head out of blocks, to stay in good leverage, in good relative position from the quarterback or the running back. But overall, to work on my own technique. Every single game I play, I'm not necessarily, the kind of guy that's going to study personnel like crazy. I don't really care who it is out there I'm blocking. And that's something I try to tell the whole offensive line, right? It doesn't matter if it's Duquesne, doesn't matter if it's LSU, doesn't matter if it's Notre Dame, doesn't matter if it's any team across the country, any defensive front. We're going to block them the same way. And every team needs to be blocked the same way. And if you don't do that, and you're blocking individuals, and you're going to get out of your own comfort zone, get out of your own head, and start doing things that don't represent what you've learned and what you've put into this game. So for me, I attacked with everything I had. My base fundamentals and technique. Our offensive line group did a really good job. We were relatively consistent. I had to move around a little bit. I played left guard and center, and we had a few guys in the offensive line bounce around. Part of that, of course, is because of little things that pop up like injuries or other things going on. But the other part is, building a stable depth in our offensive line here at Florida State. Bringing in a bunch of offensive linemen isn't the solution to an offensive line that's had issues in the past. The solution isn't bringing 22 guys. The solution is bringing in 22 guys and getting them quality game reps, right? Having some guys come in and out of the game just to get a few plays under their belt. So they have some of those live bullets firing. So that's why, I saw, playing Duquesne and playing an opponent that I didn't really think we'd have an issue with was a really big advantage, right? And building that depth early on in the season so we can have guys roll into games and understand what that tempo looks like, understand what the pressure looks like, and understand what it feels like to play out there in Doak Campbell.
Did it feel good to get out there in a week 0 game? Like you don't get the same wear and tear as if you're going from week 1 to week 2. Mm-hmm. But was it nice to get out and exert yourself a little bit more maybe than you can in practice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the only way you get better is if you're training, right? And the ultimate test of training is a game-like scenario. There's anything else you could possibly do that gets you in that same mindset that clears your mind that much than stepping out there in Doak Campbell in front of that many people and having a defender in front of you that your main objective is to move him from point A to point B against his will, or stay in front of him the whole game and not let him make any pressure sacks, whatever it might be. So getting in that mindset, that is probably the biggest part for me. It isn't necessarily the training. It isn't necessarily the blocking, Duquesne's front. It was more or less getting in that mindset and having to perform. Definitely, helped me sharpen up my my mind and, get some of that gunk out of my gears. Having good eyes, being smart, being a smart offensive lineman, using my eyes 24/7. Just little things like that you wouldn't necessarily think of beyond the physical part. Just the mental visualization and training. That's what it helps an offensive lineman out the most. Just getting in that game-like tempo, the game-like feel, having to be a smart football player are all things that are queued up really quickly in a game where it becomes even more personal and even more real life.
You notice anything different with Alex Atkins' role on the sidelines, with him being the offensive coordinator this season and the offensive line coach?
No, we still heard from him every single drive. It didn't matter. He was still right in our ears, chewing some guys' faces off, of course, and supporting the whole group. He's not necessarily the kind of coach that's going to take you to the sideline and cuss you out, but he is going to point out when you're not using the proper technique fundamentals or you're not executing in a way that he expects us to. So at the end of the day, I really didn't feel anything different. That was one of my concerns, or one of my thoughts when I first heard at least the added role of being the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach. But we have a great support staff around him, a lot of different individuals that popped up and help us analyze plays and break down defensive fronts after we get off the field after a drive.
All right. So what do you take from this game ultimately, moving forward?
No, we can run the damn football. That's for sure. We have 3 really, really good backs. We have 4 or 5, if I'm being completely honest. And it's going to be very exciting, right? We didn't necessarily get to see some of our, I don't know how to say it, skill position top performers. We really didn't get to see them challenged. We really didn't get to see them in full action with all the concepts and everything, all the work that we've put in physically, mentally, and then also supported by our coaches. We really didn't get to see any, crazy football, right? We didn't get to see crazy scheme plays. We presented them with a base offense, right? What we've been running here at Florida State. We ran counter, we ran zone. Like there wasn't anything that special. So I can't wait to be able to put those guys, those playmakers, in a situation to make a play. And as far as the offensive lineman goes, again, it was base concept, so weren't necessarily extremely challenging schematics or plays that we were running. So I'm excited to have guys be a little more challenged as we move into week 1 and get through the rest of the season. But again, it doesn't matter who we're playing. Just applying those base technique fundamentals. And I was really proud of our group of not making it bigger than it had to be, and staying locked in the moment. Because Lord knows that when you get your second group out there, there's a little drop off in mental intensity, right? Where it doesn't mean as much, right? It doesn't mean as much to get the backup quarterback sacked. And then you get your third group out there, and it means even less, right? Because you have younger offensive linemen, younger skill position, younger quarterback out there. They're just trying to give them live reps. But I think everyone did a really good job in taking it personal. And again, having responsibility over themselves, their position, and what they were called to do during the game. And that's why we had that score. It's why we ran, had 3 backs with over 100 yards each. It wasn't just from that first group in that first half of ones versus ones. It was, the whole game, including, a Stickle. He's a walk-on center. But he did an incredible job during the game. He played a full quarter of football. And he did a great job snapping the ball, did a great job IDing fronts, did a great job calling all the plays and being the quarterback of the offensive line. Just little things like that you wouldn't necessarily get the advantage of, were things that we came out of the week with a better understanding of our personnel, a better understanding of who we can trust in those critical situations, and overall got to have a better feel of our team moving into week 1.
And week 1 takes us to New Orleans, where you guys, the Florida State Seminoles, are going to take on LSU in a neutral site game. Is that exciting? You got friends and family going? Is there a little bit of a buzz around this one?
Yep. So my family will be there. The Donovans will be there. My fiance's family will be there. One of my old coaches will be there too. Brian Kelly. He'll be there. He'll be there this week. I think so, at least. You never know. I hope he doesn't have another one of those. Last time we played them, he made a couple odd comments on the sideline, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game. I hope that doesn't happen again. I'd feel bad for those boys over there at LSU. But yeah, I'm excited to get after it. I'm excited to see Coach Kelly again, and excited to play Florida State football.
Yeah, it should be fun. The game's on Sunday. How does that go with planning and everything? Everything kind of just altered one day?
Yeah, so Coach Norvell has a very interesting structure in the way he progresses a week. Of course, I'm not going to reveal that. I can't. That's kind of part of the secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's keeping us in playing shape, right? Getting some of the soreness out of our bodies. Guys, of course, even though we played Duquesne last week and had a great game, guys are a little bit sore. Minor injuries and things like that they're working through. But getting our offense as healthy as it can possibly be to face LSU was one of the priorities of the week. So we've done a great job, and not necessarily putting the foot on the brake, but getting out there, working extremely hard, but not necessarily beating our heads against each other all week. So they've done a really good job. We've had 3 practices so far, and we'll have a few more before we get to the game. But I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
This is we planned to play Duquesne, right? And we had a lot of schematics, and trust me, we invested a lot of time in trying to understand what Duquesne is going to present us because of the limited information available. But we have the same situation this week. We're going to go out there and play football. It's hard to tell, exactly what's going to be run. It's hard to tell, what players are going to be playing or who's going to be, the starting quarterback. Like, it doesn't matter. We're going to go out there and play our football. We're going to go out there and play Florida State football. And I'm very proud of this team, the way we've attacked the week so far. And I'm excited to go out there and play some more football.
Do you feel like this team is better built for close games than last year's team? Like, you guys went through a lot last year. Does that resonate into this season?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we went through a lot of close games last year too. And
that's what I mean.
We made them very close.
Are you more prepared for close games this year?
I would definitely say more prepared. We're talking about depth in critical positions that get worn down throughout the wake of a game, throughout the whole series of a game, and getting into the overtimes, getting into the fourth quarter. But yeah, I think that the development of our team, again, we've only lost a few players from last season, right? A few players that of course maybe made some explosive plays, but they weren't the heart and soul of the team. They weren't the guys that are going to be relied on every single down. Those guys were playmakers, and I'm excited to see how those guys that are stepping up right now and becoming more of that type of playmaker is going to be faced with come Sunday. It's a big stage. It's one of the biggest stages some of these guys have ever been on, and it should reveal a lot about the essence of our team, the root of our team, which of course is we're pretty rooted in love, right? And loving the game, loving each other, loving the coaches, and trusting the process. So we've got a lot of guys that love playing football, love sacrificing for each other. And when we're on that stage, I hope that everyone makes that same decision. We all come together and show them how much we love football.
Yeah, and I'm sure the fans would love a win this weekend. So
yeah,
it's all love. It's all love.
I love love, man.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what would you say if you could just say right now, if the offensive line does this, I feel like we have a really good chance to win?
Dominate the line of scrimmage. And again, there's different ways to look at it, right? It isn't necessarily based off one drive. It isn't necessarily based off one play. It's based off a bunch of series of plays. If at the end of the week, right, or on Monday, if we can come together as an offensive line group and watch our film, right, in reverse. So not starting from the first play, starting at the last play. If we watch it from reverse on Monday after the game, and our effort looks the same from that first play or from the last play all the way back to the first play, then I'll be extremely satisfied, right? There shouldn't be a drop-off in effort, especially when you have a game like this that has so much energy around it and a stadium that's going to be electric, playing a team that we really want to win against, So I hope to be able to watch that film, be proud of everyone and the effort they put into it, the mental endurance, and locking in those critical situations. I hope to see that if we watch a game in reverse, like I'm saying. So that's usually what we do on Mondays or the day after a game. So usually on Sundays. But at the end of the day, if we can watch that game in reverse and have the same effort, same physicality, dominating line of scrimmage, staying in good relative position between the defender and the quarterback or running back, I'll be proud of our group.
That's all you can ask for at this point. All right. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to watch on Sunday. And of course, we're going to talk about it right here next week. But before we get out of here, tell us about Big Man, Big Heart. What's the latest going on and how can people contribute?
Yeah, so we have some interesting news coming up here in the next couple of weeks. I'll be very happy to share. But in the meantime, we had our first tailgate of the season. So for every home game this season, we're going to be throwing a Big Man, Big Heart tailgate. It's going to be on the Champions Walk. And basically it's a tent on the right-hand side. We've rented out for every home game. There'll be all liquor you can drink, all the wonderful beverages and things that my family will be there providing. But we hope to bring out a lot of different people. So we actually brought together, I believe it was 4 individuals from the community here to go and watch the game this weekend. So it was 2 kids from the Boys and Girls Club and 2 adult family members that we provided tickets for, food, drink, all those wonderful things, and gave them a great experience as we beat Duquesne last week. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're trying to lean on the Florida State community. If you have any tickets that you're not going to see games this season that you'd like to donate to Big Man Big Heart, we'll be happy to give those to some kids from the Boys and Girls Club or other individuals that we've supported so far through Big Man Big Heart. But again, it's kind of a gathering place for good, right? To tell some good stories, to meet my family, to meet a bunch of football players after the games. But we're going to do a few interesting things. There'll be a few different raffles, some merchandise for sale, and some other great opportunities to give back to the community, to read into stories, and to hear the stories of individuals that we've been able to support, and help out, so we can support more individuals here in the Tallahassee area and people over college football.
And for anybody listening, Dylan does a great job of keeping bigmanbigheart.com updated and active, and anybody can go there and find links to all of the foundations, everything Dylan's doing. So if you ever have any question, bigmanbigheart.com, and everything's on there. So go check that out. All right. Well, we're to the shout out portion of the show. So Dylan, do you have any shout outs?
So first of all, this isn't necessarily a shout out, not necessarily a plug, but I can't thank Tara from Garnet and Gold enough. She does an amazing job supporting Big Man Big Heart. She's helped us out. Shout out to Tara. She does an amazing job, with different pieces of the clothing that she's made for my family and for individuals associated with Big Man Big Heart. But we're actually going to be launching a few different shirts inside of our stores. So Garnet and Gold, there's a few different ones around here in Tallahassee. There's actually one towards downtown, and there's one towards the stadium that I've been to. But I'll have some shirts on display there for purchase. Every single purchase is going to be donated directly back to Big Man Big Heart. But I can't thank you guys enough for just checking that out. And again, Tara, I can't thank you enough for putting up with me, putting up with my family, and helping us design a few T-shirts that hopefully you'll be able to raise some money with. They're pretty cool designs, and I'm sure I'll have those next week to be able to put on Twitter. But again, I can't thank Tara enough for putting up with me and for supporting Big Man Big Heart. So if you need anything Florida State wise, whether it's just a polo shirt, a jacket, a hat when it gets too hot and don't Campbell, please check out Garnet and Gold. You guys know them if you're a Florida State fan, but they've done some amazing work, and they do a great job supporting Florida State athletics and specifically football players, and more specifically, people in need of Big Man Big Heart.
And for those people listening that are going to be in town in Tallahassee soon and go to Garnet and Gold, they actually have it's called a vault store on Pensacola.
Yep.
That sells like all the old FSU gear. So go check that out. They got the vintage logos and designs and all that kind of stuff. And that's the one on Pensacola. So shout out to Garnet and Gold holding it down for us. Anything else you got on the docket that you want to shout out or talk about before we go?
Big shout out to Rude Boy Spirits. They're behind me as well. They've done a great job in supporting us. We've done a couple of events with them so far, planning out a few for this season. But they do sponsor a good amount of liquor for the tailgates, and to be able to give out to different individuals associated with Florida State athletics and people that have supported Big Man Big Heart. So please check them out. Super Coffee, again, done a great job delivering cases here basically weekly for me to give out around athletics, people in Big Man Big Heart, and back home at our local fire stations and police stations. Also, Jorgensen Gibbons Law, they enjoy their Super Coffee. Good Sam, they've done a great job in supporting Big Man Big Heart so far. I can't thank them enough. And again, I look forward to having a deeper relationship with them. But if you need anything, please just let me know. And I can't thank everyone enough for joining on the podcast tonight. I got to check Twitter real quick. I told people I'd answer questions this week, so let's see if they have any. Yeah,
go ahead. I am going to be holding a Twitter space on Thursday. If you're listening to this live on YouTube, tomorrow, if you're listening to this on iTunes today, but I'll be holding a Twitter space about 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and I will be having an announcement of my own. I'm going back to work. So on Thursday, September 1st, I'll have some sort of announcement. We can talk about that next week.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. It's pretty exciting times, though. I know there's eight people on here right now live, and there's more on YouTube. If anyone has any questions, please comment them below real quick.
Yeah, we'll get to them. So are you in school? Like, how's school going right now with everything that you got going? Can't they give you a break on school this week?
No breaks. I've had an amazing semester so far. Good start. I spent most of my day today. Wednesdays are kind of my day to recap and get caught up on school. But yeah, my semester's going swimmingly so far. I had a class last night, a business law class with Professor Woodyard, Dr. Woodyard, and it was amazing. It was an in-person class, and I can't wait till my next class because again, everyone in my family is attorneys, and of course, I've dabbled in the world. I've taken a few business law courses at Notre Dame back in the day. And of course, always hearing the lingo, always being around attorneys and the law. So it's nice to, apply that to something that I'm pretty familiar with. So it's a great class and a wonderful professor. And I'm really excited for the rest of the semester.
All right, great. Well, these questions, if they come in, we'll get to them next week. Next week, I'll put out a tweet earlier and we will submit some questions before we get going, let everybody get them in. So until then, Dylan, good luck this weekend in New Orleans and go Noles.
I appreciate it. I'll see you next week, Josh.